Hey, you're still muted, buddy. Quinn, you're muted.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another
There you
episode
go.
of What's Really Going On in America. Sorry about that. Also sorry for last week. I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't get on. Had to recover a little bit, but we're back, and well, I've been watching this woman, in politics, Lindy Li, and man, is she on fire because let me tell you, she held back before, but now she is not holding anything back. She was a Democrat. She is an immigrant, and she didn't like what was going on in the Democratic Party.
Is she going to become our next Tulsi Gabbard?
Maybe, but only she's an immigrant. Is Tulsi Gabbard an immigrant? It's so hard to keep up with everyone.
I know Tulsi Gabbard is very, very attractive and also very smart.
Mm,
Sorry to go that route, guys, but I Tulsi Gabbard's like the total picture. Yeah, she is total wife material. She's intelligent, she's attractive, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. And honestly, in today's day and age, especially with the women have no say, she's proving you wrong. She has plenty of say. She has a voice, and she's letting it be heard. So good for her. Good for everybody like her. So maybe she's setting
well,
the trend.
Well, let me start out with this part of an interview on Fox.
Vitriolic. And they say they're not a cult, but look at how they behave when one of their own dares to think for herself. The excommunication, the defamation, the public shaming, the boycott campaigns, the psychological terrorism. I no longer have comments on any of my social media because it's just too much. I don't need that. It's just endless. And as soon as you step out of line, they will get you.
Well,
So
she's not wrong.
leftists say she's talking about the very people who say that anyone who votes for Trump is in a Trump cult.
Well, that's just what we tell people anymore. If we don't like what you're doing, and there's a whole lot of people doing it, you're in a cult, and that seems to be par for course today. And we can say the same thing about the Democrats. That the Democrats say the same thing about us, and to an extent, if you want to, really like break it down by definition, they could be mildly correct. The difference with people like yourself or me or like our circle of like personal friends, we're gonna call you out no matter what. So I really don't think that's cult like because, well, guess what? Cult people in cults don't call out their leader if they do something that they disagree with and force them to either change their mind or step away.
Yeah, and a prime example of that is Eric Adams being excused for his, his crimes of prosecution by the Trump administration. That's something I disagree with. I mean, he had plenty of opportunity to do the right thing, and and it took him whatever to be like, you know what, we're just too much in New York City. When Curtis Lewa would have already done it.
So I think what happened there is Trump saw that they went after Adams for political reasons. So he kind of had that like metaphorical bonding experience. And it's one of those things where the Orange Man, he just kind of surprises me every single day. I mean, we're not even a full month into this term, and he's getting things done. He's doing things that just don't make sense to normal politics. Where him and Adams were, they were up in arms with each other, and guess what? He puts his tweet out, he makes his statement, and says, "Yeah, pretty cool that they're going after you for political reasons. I know nothing about that." And it's just, hey, that it is what it is. And I'm not really sure what Adams did that kind of pissed off the people that Trump decided that I have to side with this guy, but it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun to see. And we are trying to bring people together. And I think that was just one of those steps in that direction that needed to happen.
Yeah. But if you were to ask the leftists who say we're in a cult, what did Joe Biden done or Kamala Harris done as vice president? Oh wait, she's not Trump. He's not Trump. That's the only answer you get.
Well,
and it's like
we didn't say they were smart.
Yeah, they just say, I mean, they don't really give an answer, but yet, and plus, the leftists think nearly exactly alike, but we're in a cult.
So I do this thing every night when I leave work. I have about a 45-minute drive, depending on traffic, and it's just kind of like my quiet time to think and reflect and wind down from the day's work. And I'm trying to understand how certain people think and their reasoning. And say I'm a cult, that's fine, because I can say the same thing to you for the exact same reason. It's just like what's going on now with Doge, and they're more upset about who is finding the problems than the actual problem itself. I don't care who's stealing money from me, because I want them to stop stealing money from me. I don't care if they're a Democrat. I don't care if they're a Republican. And the meme I saw this morning was perfect. This is way too big for the Republicans to have no idea that this was happening. So they're going to get upset, and it's going to happen. It's going to be freaking glorious, because that's going to show that this administration is doing things based off of principle and not party.
Well, listen to this. So, good thing. Apparently, she left the Democratic Party, and listen to this. This is wonderful news.
That is clear. So what's next? Are you going to turn Republican, independent? What's next for you?
This all has been so fast for me, and actually someone scooped my own exit. Some random person on Twitter got 3 million views saying that Lindy Li is going to exit. I couldn't even own my own departure. So this is all happening really quickly for me, but you might see me at the inauguration. I don't want to say too much right now, but somebody on Team Trump already reached out to me. They've been incredibly gracious, and on day one, they were kinder to me and more humane than the DNC ever was.
Wow.
Wow.
Shocking, right? Shocking.
I know. We can disagree with each other on certain things, and we can still be kind to each other. But you disagree on the leftists, oh boy, you're gonna get canceled by them, by the whole two people.
And that's another part of my, my after work reflection time is, if you stray even 1 degree off of what they consider the narrative, you are no longer a part of us. You are an outsider. You are evil, whatever words they choose to use. like you're not allowed to question them in any way, shape, or form. You know, I could be invited to the White House tomorrow, and I could tell Donald Trump he's an asshole to his face, and he would want to know why I felt that way. You can't do that on the left, unfortunately. And they need to understand that, hey, we're not criticizing simply because we disagree. I mean, we may agree 90% on a topic, but that 10% that we disagree on, you're casting me out. And you want to whine about fascism. Like, well, guess what? I have my personal opinion on a certain idea or thing or topic, and you're not letting me voice my opinion. So in reality, who's actually the fascist out of this group? It's not the evil orange man in the White House. It's not his administration. It is this very people who are claiming that Trump's a threat to democracy. I voted. My vote was counted. Um, I can talk to my representatives at the state and federal level. I can talk to my local representatives. I have that right, the same as everybody else does. So utilize that. Don't just cast out everybody who disagrees with you a little bit.
Well, it's a good thing that democracy is being threatened because I don't want the mob rule to override my basic human rights. I want to be able to speak freely without the mob saying, "Shut him up, we demand it." I want to be able to own my property without the mob saying, allow us to take it. I want to be able to live my life without the mob rules saying I'm not allowed to. You know, that's why we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic which protects basic human rights, which is especially the first 10 amendments, but even exerted past that. And then now you got Gavin Newsom that still wants the 28th Amendment, which will give more power to the government, which is bad. The 16th Amendment should definitely be out, if I'm thinking that one right, where Congress has the right to tax us some more, which is not which is not the right of the government. It should be the right of the people, not the government. So
I just want people's tax dollars to not be wasted. Like, we have no choice but to pay them. I would just like them to go to things that actually benefit the people that are paying them. Yes, I understand
for men's rooms.
You know, hey, you know what? Like, we're not even gonna touch that issue right now. I mean, that is such a drop of water in the ocean kind of topic. Whether we agree with it or not, that's not the idea. It's the billions of dollars that go to places that we can't visit. I can't hop on a plane and go see where my tax dollars are being spent in a lot of these countries because guess what? I am not allowed there with a U.S. passport. Not that I would really want to go there, but it'd be kind of interesting to see. Like, hey, where'd my money go? Like, show me what I paid for. Let me take a selfie with it. And like I was saying before, they're more upset with who's finding the fraud than the actual fraud itself, and that just proves that is cult-like behavior right there. And I don't want to be a part of this anymore. At sometimes, like why are you so dumb? And the clickbait articles, which we mentioned pre-show about that $400 million contract. That's not a contract, and not a single dollar was exchanged ever. Or the SpaceX money. Well, you hired him to do a job. He did the job. He wants to be paid. I don't care what you do for a living. Do you expect to be paid when you're done? I mean, I do. I don't go to work for fun. Do I enjoy my job? Absolutely. I love what I do for a living. But I'll tell you what. If I didn't need money, I probably wouldn't do it.
Huh, sounds like a motivation right there. But yeah,
You give me money, I do a
get it.
job, and that's how it ends.
But here's the thing too, and I'm glad you brought up the countries because I think that any country we give our tax dollars to, there should be international law that forbids a country from forbidding the citizens of that country from ever going there, and that we should have immunity by by our own country's laws. So here's what I mean: like if we're giving money to China, and then we should be able to go to China with our constitutional rights intact, so they can't punish us for speaking freely, saying their government sucks. The people are good, the government sucks. I know, and yeah, I know there's some dangers to that because they're a communist party and they don't believe in free speech. And then they'll, of course, try to justify it by saying something that's not true. Saying, oh yeah, he was about to kill someone, so we had to shoot him. And it's like, but they have no proof,
I'm kind of
and
torn.
since
I'm
it's
kind of
either
torn
way
on that.
done,
Like for example, look at the nonsense England's pulling. Like they're trying to arrest people for social media posts.
yeah.
Well, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Like, obviously we're American. We agree. We live the freedom of speech. But at the same time, do we really want somebody from a Sharia country coming here and practicing Sharia law? Because guess what? It's that two-way street where I can go there and be an American jerk off, but I don't want them coming here and doing what they do. I'm okay with countries having their rules. Like, for example, you go to Russia, you get jailed for having, drugs. We've talked about
Well,
this.
yeah.
I feel people should be allowed to do whatever they want, but guess what? I don't live in Russia. I am not Russian. I am not part of the Russian government. If they want to make that crap illegal, well off, like, hey, I probably shouldn't take a bag of marijuana with me to Russia. But yet people do it, and somehow it becomes international news. Like, oh, basketball player or this person, they're put in jail for 14 years because they had marijuana. This one was medical. I don't care that it was medical. It's illegal there. No matter how much I disagree with their rules, it is unfortunately their rules. I'm not trying to go to China and do whatever they hate because I have zero reason to go there. I mean, I really don't need to see where my iPhone came from because I would probably be disgusted.
Yeah. So, well, here's another clip.
Either believe what they say or you are excommunicado. You are no longer worthy of any conversation.
Ashley, you're so right. And now I'm in exile, and I'm happier for it. And you know what? This is meant to happen. And I've had friends just in the last couple of days, so-called friends, block me, and just. Simply because I expressed a view that wasn't the doctrine, that wasn't officially sanctioned. This is kind of authoritarian, and I grew up in an authoritarian regime. This reeks of that. This is an American democracy. What happened to the First Amendment?
Wait a minute. Did she just say that thing that if I said would be a conspiracy? about how if you stray even just a little bit off of their narrative, you're exiled. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yep, that's exactly right. And our country is becoming more and more like that. If you just say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, and it doesn't even have to be anything morally imperfect, but it could just be saying if you like, okay, so I voted for the Constitution Party. That puts me in exile between two parties. Democrats hate it, and even though they're not worried about it, they won't attack me, but they just will hate me. And Republicans would be like, "Why didn't you vote for me? Why didn't you vote for me?" It's like, because I know many of you all are rhinos helping the Democrats, and I don't vote within um, the two mafia party. I will vote outside. Now, am I anti-Trump? No. I how he was my second choice, and because I know what he can do, and but I also know that he made some mistakes here and there, and not enough to say, oh yeah, he's the worst person. But one of the major ones I can say is when he, instead of fighting abortion, he just said, oh, leave it to the states. The reason why I voted for Randall Terry was because he's 100% anti-abortion, and he was ready to fight that 100%. He didn't politicalize it. He just simply wanted to end it once and for all. And I will say this. Yes, he was a weak candidate on some other issues like end the Fed, you know, and all that other stuff. But the number one thing I took from him was he's the most pro-life um, candidate in the last presidential election that we had, and that is why I voted for. Now, many people, of course, disagreed and went with Trump, and I'm not going to go, "Oh my goodness, you're horrible people," because I know other things he can do, and he's going to prosper this country. He's going to do great, but I'm not going to, but I'm not going to hate people on that because Trump is labeled Republican, but he's simply an independent-minded thinker, and I like that about him.
I do, like I said, I can find plenty of things that he's done that I disagree with as well. Now, when it comes to like, the abortion topic, he played it safe. And even his biggest supporters will say he played it safe, and as far as, the election was concerned, putting it to the states was a very good non-answer. Um, especially if you're trying to push the idea of states' rights on other topics. You can't say, "Well, I'm setting a bar here on this topic, and it's up to the rest of y'all um, if you want to do, your own thing." Um, I it's one of those things where that particular topic, I don't really understand why particularly people who are for it are making such a big deal about it. Why it's so important. And as we've seen throughout politics, at least, in our adult time on this earth, if one side says one thing, the other side says the absolute opposite, and they just have to completely counteract it, each other. And it's no longer about beliefs. It's no longer about morals. It's about I'm doing the exact opposite of the person I'm going against, and that's all they're doing it for. It's a dog and pony show. Um, I really feel anybody who's pro-abortion, like the act, and that's it. Like just that one thing, not the care, not anything else. Just that topic. It is not about choice. It's about I'm sticking it to somebody who doesn't like this. Now, I've always said I am morally against it, but I also can't get pregnant. And it's I don't know. I just feel it's one of those topics where I can say 100% I'm against it, but it's also kind of like a necessary evil because the people who are anti-abortion haven't really done the best job of taking care of the mother who was at that point forced to have that child after the fact. Everybody's got reasons, but it's like you can have it unrestricted or you can't have it at all with all the restrictions. There's no middle ground, and that's where I'm very optimistic, not just on that topic obviously, but that's where I'm very optimistic with this administration where we're going to actively try and find middle ground on these very complex topics. And if we don't have the conversations, we're never going to come to a middle ground. It's just going to be a constant butting heads with each other, and we're going to go nowhere. I mean, the left talks about progress. The right says, oh, progress is bad. No, we need to move forward. We need to evolve and become a better society, but we're not going to do it arguing over things that result in zero solution.
Well, here is another clip, and I think this is where Lindy makes a great point. Now, they say we worship Trump. Listen to this.
It's their religion. It's their God. Woke is their God. This like trans and woke insanity, they're enthralled by it. And, go woke, but go broke. We've seen that happen so many times, and companies are running as fast as they can away from this toxic agenda. Yet the Democratic Party is doubling down time and time again on this. This honestly, it's a gender hysteria. It's almost like a social contagion. And it's just, this is not what Americans want. They want common sense policies. They don't want men and women's sports. They want men to be men and women to be women, and for women to be able to thrive without having to fear that a biological man, is going to come into their sport and trounce them. You never hear about women in men's sports. There's a reason why. There's an obvious gender disparity. And to argue otherwise is just very disingenuous. But over the past 5-10 years, the party has become like hijacked by this ideology.
You hear that? That one part of the clip, no woman has ever gone into the men's sports. Have you ever seen a woman within the last 5 years, pretending to be a man, go into the NFL to play football, to be tackled by other men?
Well, it's actually not unheard of. It's less likely, mainly because they realize I am at a serious disadvantage. For the same reason that if you do it the opposite way, you are at an advantage. And I'm very happy that you brought that clip up because that's the topic that lives rent free inside my head. Um, I have my own thoughts. I want everybody to live their best life no matter what. If you're trans, amazing. Live your best life. Um and what's disheartening to me is people who just want to live their life the way they see fit and be left the hell alone can no longer do so because I can sit here right now. Hi, I am no longer a man. I identify as a woman. Now that makes zero sense because you hear my stupid voice, you see my stupid face, um, and I have zero proof of going to therapy and having being diagnosed with dysphoria, all the things that actually make a person who they are. Um, we're not going to get into any of the mental aspects of it. It's just I can now walk out into the street and say, I am a woman, call me this name. And the left will say, yay, welcome. Now you have here's your talking points. They'll give me the big pamphlet, the big book, and say, okay, these are now your political beliefs. You can no longer own a gun because people with guns will want to shoot you. You can go wherever you want and nobody can question you. And so there is an argument, and I'm going to sound a little woke here, but I really do agree with this argument that we're not upset with trans people. We're upset with scumbags. I have to clarify. You're rapists, you're murderers, the typical scumbags. You've now given them a loophole to not be questioned to enter spaces where they would normally not be allowed. What was it? Was it Planet Fitness? I don't remember which chain it was.
Yep.
Okay. Do I agree with that woman taking pictures of other people in a locker room? No. That issue right there, that's something completely different. That dude had a fucking beard. Okay? I don't care at that point. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, and I'm not here to say we need to pass legislation to hinder anybody from being their true self and being happy. But there needs to be a conversation that you keep talking about how shitty men are, but yet you're allowing them with zero question to identify as the opposite sex. So I don't care about sports. I don't watch women's sports. I just don't. I'm not interested in it. But with that being said, it's very difficult to in reality, this is a new thing. Okay. The trans people have been around forever. Yes, I understand that aspect. But as far as being in the public eye and to these numbers, I do feel that some people are being scumbags and making a bad name for that community. And I don't know. It's one of those topics where we could literally talk about this for an hour and a half on just this topic, just this one. And I don't want to bore the viewers who are here tonight by going down that rabbit hole. I'll probably do it myself at some point just because, I want to be supportive, but I also want people to feel safe on both sides of that fence.
Well, you know what? I think what they should, a lot of, what you call it, gems do these days is have single-use shower rooms. So it's just you and whoever you're inviting in because, I'm not going to judge
They're
who's
saving
gonna
water.
judge,
Quinn, they're doing it to save water. They care about the environment.
Yeah.
One person's lathering up while the other's rinsing. It just makes pure common sense for the for the environment.
Yeah, so here's the comment. It's funny because when they have a male worker in the female's locker room, they put up a sign to warn us. Really, I need to check that out. I would like to see that sign,
No.
YG.
So I know exactly what she's talking about there. So obviously we can't, dictate who we're hiring. So like say janitorial staff. If somebody's in that locker room, or that, multi-person restroom doing cleaning, they will definitely put up a sign if the person who is cleaning that women's room, women's locker room, women's bathroom, is a male. Because woman doesn't want to walk in there and, see some guy, whether he's doing his job or not. They just don't want to see a guy in that room. That's their space. That's where they want to feel They don't want to feel objectified. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. We all have the right to feel comfortable. My room, this is my sanctuary. It's if you guys haven't noticed by now, especially if you're a repeat viewer, I have LED lights everywhere. This room is not quite soundproof, but damn close to it. I listen to loud music. I have blinking lights, and it really makes my autism happy. This is my safe space. It's the same thing for anybody else. You have the right to feel safe, especially when it is something such as a restroom, a locker room. Like, I feel like those are those places that no matter what, you should not feel uncomfortable at all for any reason. And unfortunately, because the left decides, well, since I now identify as whatever, pick a name, I'm now allowed in that safe space to invade your safe space, to make you uncomfortable, and you can't say a damn word about it because if you do, you're a bigot. I hate being in a society where scumbags will take advantage of people who are already marginalized. We're having this conversation because people are dicks. And stop being scumbags, people.
Well, this is an interesting question. If the worker is a male to female trans cleaning the locker room, does the sign go up for that worker?
Well, no, because according to the rule book that is currently in place, you are not allowed to, because that would insinuate that you are misgendering them. And again, I could be a janitor at a gym, and I can spout off like I'm not a man. I identify as a woman, dressed like this, and you can't say anything. And I feel that is hurting their community more than it is helping. I have trans friends. I will do unspeakable things to make sure that they are safe. But
as do I.
And the thing is, I can't even have the conversation with them as far as the straying from the playbook, because they feel that I'm encroaching upon their rights, or people like them. I want you to be safe. I want people who are legitimately like this to be safe and be happy. But the less restraints you put on it and the less you question it, you're just opening the door for more scumbags to take advantage of this. You've created a loophole to put people at risk. And I'm not just saying women. I mean anybody who's in that room. A woman, a child, another trans person, for Christ's sake. I just have some common sense, okay? Because if you're 300 pounds, you got a beard down to your freaking chest, you're not a woman. I don't care what you identify as. Like, I want to see just a little bit of commitment. Just a little bit. I'm not saying, like, you got to be a supermodel. I'm saying you need to show me, and especially, not even me, actually. You need to show the trans community that you're not just a piece of shit. That you're there because, okay, you're trans. And also, I'm not a fan of government spending, but I would like to see a little bit of research go into this, because it seems to me, at least what I see on the interwebs, most of these trans children, your 8 to 12-year-old kids, it's the projection of the parents. And it's the modern day version of the beauty pageant shit that went on in the late 90s, that I wholeheartedly disagree with that too. You're exploiting your child because your life is shit. I apologize for the amount of swear words tonight, but I'm just kind of fired up over this topic right now, because people's rights are being hindered by people who are exploiting a system that's supposed to protect people.
And it's good that you brought up criminals taking advantage of it, because criminals, I mean, it's very easy to if I trans into a woman, and I go into a woman's locker room, I easily have advantage to kidnapping her, or even maybe someone's daughter, like teenage daughter or a little girl or whatever. And that and see, and things like this were not even brought up. And we actually have another comment. A large percentage of them are raised by single mothers. And yes, and because fathers are taken out of the house, um, there's really not as much discipline as there should be. You know, me growing up as a child, you know, I'm gonna, I would always take advantage of the female parent, but I would dare not. But I would hide from the males easily
I mean,
because I can always, because the way I grew up, I always look for male role models, and mine was Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor. Eh, You know, people kids would tend to look for it on television, on the streets, and whatnot. And if there's no male good role model in the home, guess what? They're gonna look elsewhere, and that's what they think a man should be.
well, I mean, I'm going to sound like an old person right now, but the internet is it's a blessing and it's also a curse all at the same time. Where we have all of this information at our fingertips, and we have trends. So, Quinn, remember when you were in school, if you didn't wear a certain clothing brand, you were whatever. You were ostracized. You were made fun of. I mean, I dealt with that nonsense growing up. My my parents couldn't afford to send me to school every single day in a full Tommy Hilfiger outfit. Apparently, that's what was cool when I was in school. And I just wore whatever the hell I wanted to because, I mean, I was comfortable. And I never once even thought about it. But now you add that social media aspect into it, where if you don't have this pair of shoes, or you don't wear this brand cologne, or if you don't wear your hair this certain way, it's not just the people in your school that are making fun of you. It's the people on the internet. So now you went from 10 people to 10 million people, and it's not doing good for the mental health. So kids strive to fit in. And what is the current trend right now? You're gay, you're bi, you're trans, and I feel it's doing a disservice to that community, because there's been some shit that community put up with and fought for rights to basically be left alone. Like, I always say, that community and the rednecks, we have so much in common. Like, just let us live our lives and leave us the hell alone. That's all we want. We want to be happy. I'm gonna go over here, raise chickens. I'm gonna shoot guns. I'm gonna drink beer. I'm gonna drive a lifted truck, and leave me alone. Meanwhile, the neighbor's like, yeah, I just want to be gay and eat organic and whatever. I don't know. I'm stereotyping. I'm a piece of shit for that. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying. The thing we have in common is we just want to be left alone. Like, hey, howdy neighbor, and hey, you need help with anything, and that's the end of it. And we've talked about it so many times. There's so much divide. Like, you can't like that person because they raise chickens and drive a lifted truck, and I'm like, wait a minute. I really like what you did with your yard. Can I pay you to decorate my yard or my house? And I'll fix your car for you. Like, I don't care. Like, just be happy and don't be a piece of crap. Like, and I mean that for everybody. Everybody. Be happy. Don't be a piece of crap. In fact, I'm going to get that tattooed on me. Probably. Probably not, actually. That would hurt.
Well, you know what? Good thing that Donald Trump is wanting to defund the Department of Indoctrination. Oh, indoctrination, I mean education. Oh no, I meant indoctrination. And because that's the source of all the division right now is through our public school systems. And and even though Donald Trump, is beginning on that on the federal level, we still got state levels of indoctrinations to get rid of. And we got to get rid of it now because the division is killing our country. And eventually it's going to get to the point where we will be left defenseless against another country that's united in their hate for us. Like 100% insane.
I, this whole Department of Education thing. I've been having a whole lot of fun with this. So imagine, okay, you own a pile of crap car. All right, it does nothing but let you down. It's broken all the time. Spends all its time in the shop, and it spends more time being a lawn ornament than it does actually giving you transportation. Now, do you just keep throwing more money at it, or do you just say, I just gotta start from scratch? Because that right now is what's going on with Department of Education. Trump's defending defunding Department of Education, and then they use statistics showing how shitty we are compared to the rest of the world.
Mm.
So what you're telling me is we've been really bad in comparison to the rest of the world in education for the last 30, 40 years because of the guy who took office 3 weeks ago. Look in the mirror and repeat that until it makes sense. If it does not make sense, find a flight of stairs and toss yourself down them, because maybe the impact to your brain might make you understand what the hell you just said. Let's just keep doing the same thing, because you know what? Orange Man said it's bad, so we're going to say it's good. And somehow, did you know Donald Trump can time travel? And he went back 40 years and ruined the education system just so in 2025 he can say it sucks. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, basically that.
Sorry, I'm all wound up today.
No, you're good, man. But now, how does this? Now, here's a clip, the final one of the night, of will the donors of Lindy Li be stay coming to her, or will people pull out? Listen to this.
So excited because I just got an unsolicited text from one of my biggest donors who gave $1 million last time. He's like, I'm going to continue giving to you. And he attended the inauguration. He's one of the donors that, I got to give. So a lot of my donors are business oriented. They just want America to prosper. And President Trump wants America to prosper, and he's very business friendly. So these people are not, social justice warriors. They are not like gender crazy lunatics. They just want America to succeed, for us to have strong borders, to have sensible immigration policies.
Now imagine that. When she was a Democrat, she got donors, and they're going to continue donating to her, even though she's left the party, or I should say left the mafia.
So that honestly, that just proves that what she's doing and her stance on things resonates with the donors. They're not donating to her because she's a particular party. Again, back to me. I'm a redneck. I like NASCAR. I rooted for the same driver for a long time. Well, unfortunately, he retired, but I didn't stop rooting for him because he switched race teams. He's doing the same thing. He goes out there, he drives a car, he turns left a whole bunch of times in an afternoon, But guess what? He was originally from one team. He switched to another. Do I now abandon that driver because he's on a team that I used to not like? No, I'm rooting for my driver. I don't care what team he's on. It's the same with football or whatever, sports ball bullshit people do. And if she's doing something that resonates with people that have given money to her, why would they stop giving money to her simply because she was ostracized from her original party? It honestly, watching people get kicked out of, especially the big two parties, it makes me want to watch. Like, what did you do to piss off so many people? Like, now I'm interested. Like, now I'm gonna watch hours and hours of like whatever footage I can get of you and read whatever I can get, because I want to know what you did that was so horrible to get kicked out of something that's almost impossible to get kicked out of.
Exactly. And I admire her courage too, because I mean, the fact that she's been blocked by friends, and the whole party hates her now because she's speaking out and everything. Ooh, hold up. We got another comment here. I registered Democrat to vote Tulsi in 2020 primary. Okay.
See,
So,
that's one of those things that we always go back to, where you should be able to vote for whoever you want in a primary. It should not be based on party. I actually agree with that comment. I didn't do that, but the reason I agree with it is, if my party's not going to win, I want the best person to do that job. And I felt
yeah.
out of 2020 from the Democratic Party, Tulsi Gabbard was that person. Where if she would have won that election, I wouldn't have went and cried in a corner. I would have been like, all right, cool. We're going to do some fun things and possibly move this country forward and not play the political bullshit game.
Well, I own a business, and I've also been a hiring manager at the McDonald's. And the one thing that is consistent in and the thing that parallels with our elections is we need to study the candidates, all the candidates, not just the two-party system, but each person on each party system, and not just within the two-party system, but all party systems. And you gotta hire, vote for the best one available. I had some people tell me, oh, the Holy Spirit told me, oh, to vote for this person. It's like, okay, so if you were going to hire someone for your business, would you go by what you think is the Holy Spirit, or would you study the person in an interview first? Hello? You got to be practical with this stuff. And so it's like, and yes, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I do believe the Holy Spirit can talk to us. But at the same time, we're not to be, blindly going hire someone. And that's why I did. I see a Ryan McKenzie magnet on your fridge.
Hey,
But I will say I did not.
I was fortunate enough to have some conversations with him personally.
Mhm.
We got to shake hands. We got to talk just about, some nonsense stuff. I mean, we just kind of like hanging out. He wasn't on full campaign mode. We just talked about interest and life and work, and no different than, if you run into somebody at a bar, we had conversations, and I liked him as a person. Now, like you've said numerous times, it is our duty to hold these people accountable. If they do something that we disagree with, hey, reach out to them. Their contact information is public. Like, you can literally go on Google right now, Google Ryan McKenzie, since we're using him as an example, and there's contact information. There's phone numbers. There's email addresses. Like, don't think, like, just because your person wasn't voted in that you have no say anymore for the next term.
Oh
No,
no.
because I mean, I guarantee you, I could probably reach out to Fetterman's office, and they will hear me out the same as somebody that I voted for. Just because I didn't vote for Fetterman doesn't mean he doesn't represent us. Like, hey, homie, you may not like me, and I may not like you, but we got to have a chat, and that's just kind of how it works.
Yep. And Margie here makes it. Thank you, Margie. Definitely logic over feelings when voting, because you're not just voting someone in. You what you're saying is, see, when we're voting, we are the employer as a nation, and as a nation, we got to study who would we rather have run our business, our country, our local area, parts of the country, our state, our county, our whatever. And if we don't study people, we're gonna hire the wrong person for the wrong job. And I wouldn't hire someone to be an IT guy when they have nothing to back up, and they'll have zero experience whatsoever. College, or maybe they do it on the side, whatever. But you
Imagine,
gotta prove to me that I can hire you for the job and get it done. And and so when voted for the 7th district of my congressperson, I looked at all the Democrats, all the Republicans, and I looked at the independent party. Yes, there was a guy that was independent party. And let's just say I voted who I believe would be the best person, and I didn't go with my feelings. I went with what I was listening to, and also based on the past performances, and that was it.
so I love the fact that you refer to the elected officials as employees, and we are the employer. We are hiring people to do a job. Now imagine, Quinn, you're hiring at your place. I'm hiring at my place. And the two candidates that you've now come down to, these are your final two that you have to make that decision of. On paper, they both have great resumes. Great resumes,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously politicians suck. But we're going to do it from an employment aspect here. They both have great resumes. So on paper, they can both do the job. They can both do the job very well on paper. Now, when it comes time to actually have that final deciding interview, imagine putting those two in a room and all they do is tell you how much the other person sucks. You have no
Oh
idea.
yeah,
They're not talking about what they can bring to the table or what they can do for the company or how they're going to do the job better. Nope. Other person sucks. And that's all they do. Back and forth for 6
that
freaking
sounds.
months. Welcome to politics. The other guy sucks. I suck less, but I won't tell you why.
That's exactly how Mayor Turk. When I first met Mayor Turk, the first thing he said to me was, "I need your vote," and I'm like, "That's pathetically obvious. Now, what are you gonna do to earn my vote?" And his whole campaign was how much Tim Ramos sucked, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so that's not going to buy me into voting for you, because I wouldn't hire someone like you saying someone else sucked. I want to know what you're going to bring to my town if you're going to run for mayor. Stop focusing on the other candidates and focus on the issues. That's
Bingo.
all that I want to hear. And anyone out there, please stop focusing on what people say about others. The minute they start, you know, stuff campaigning like that, you need it based on now you you know you can study the history yourself. You don't. But if they're attacking the other person and not telling you what they're going to bring to the table, then they're probably just as guilty as the person they're attacking. But it
for
is.
example, like I'm not a salesperson, so at my job, I tell people flat out, like, look, I'm not trying to tell you that you need to use my place of business. I'm going to tell you what we do, why we do it, and that's it. I do what I do because it's what I want. It's the way I would want my family to be treated. Like I'm in a mechanical business. I want my mom to come to my shop if I'm not there and be taken care of without them knowing that it's my mom. So that's how I treat all my customers. I do the right thing. I'm not trying to sell you that, oh, I'm better and not give you any reasons. And in fact, in my spiel, I'm not even telling you that I'm better. I'm just telling you what I do. And if it's up to you, the customer, the voter, to make that decision, is this the right choice for me? And keep the clickbait nonsense out of your head moving forward, please, because it's gotten us in a lot of trouble. I don't know what else to tell you. Did you know that there's more than 2 sentences in a news article? Yeah. If you scroll past the first ad, that's where the actual information starts. It's actually very interesting. It's pretty funny. Quinn watched my rant the other night about that, and what was that? 7 minutes to go through that entire article, and with theatrics and jokes, like it. Boom, 7 minutes. That's all it took. It probably took me 3 to read it and 4 to make jokes. So yeah, we can do that. We can read words, all the words, not just the ones we like. And I think for next week I'm gonna come up with a list of all just clickbait titles that I see, and then we'll go into what's actually said and what's actually true about the article. It'll be fun. Why so and so is coming to kill you, and then it turns out that nobody's actually coming to kill you. It is the guy with the funny voice wants you to have healthy food, and he wants you to know what's in your food, and somehow that's fascism. Meanwhile, Taco Bell.
Well, our time is up for the night.
I thought this was
If
America,
you want to
Quinn.
support our work, get a Human Lives Matter t-shirt, which you can get at wrgoa.com/shop. And you even if I get one shirt sell a month, which I prefer more, of course, because I want this going viral, it would actually help me pay for some new features on the Rumble Studio app, which will alert you a lot more in advance of our upcoming podcasts. I would be able to do up to 8 days if I pay $10 a month or $100 a year. But hey,
buy in bulk if you do it. Buy in bulk.
Yeah, I may actually do a bulk special, but
always buy in bulk.
Hey,
yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to buy in bulk.
I will, but until next week, we shall see you later. And hold up, someone.
Hey, you still have interactions going on. See, you can't leave.
I know. A flea market would love me enough to sell me a pint of Red 3. I'm sure they would. But hey, everyone, you have a good week. And we will see you next Tuesday with, well, let's just say you think fast food is the only poison on earth. You will be shocked at what you see in supermarkets. And I'm ready to bring that out.
That being
But
said,
until next week,
I'm going to go eat some fast food.
well, you have fun, my friend.
Oh, don't you worry. I'm going to wash it
Later,
down with a bunch
everyone.
of beer. Later, guys.
Later.